Okay, another game from my favorite chess phenom, Lu Miaoyi, and she's playing at Erdem Khubukshanov. He seems to be from Russia. I had some trouble finding information about him, but this game was played in Serbia back in 29 or 2021, excuse me. This was played December 19th of 2021, so Christmas break of last year. And this is the actual rating of the players at the time. Lu Miaoyi is rated much higher now. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this game. So Khubukshanov starts with pawn to e4, and Lu Miaoyi goes with the Sicilian defense, pawn to c5. We have knight to f3. We have knight to c6. And then pawn to d4. This is mainline Sicilian. These are all book moves. They've been played many times, which is actually what we'll find in this game. A lot of these moves, up until the 15th move actually, this has all been played before, more or less. There is some transpositions in the game, so um, yeah. So they don't play exactly book moves every time, but they end up transposing into book moves. Now we have knight, so knight captures on d4, and then we have knight to f6 for Lu Miaoyi, putting pressure on the pawn there, and of course knight to c3, defending that e4 pawn. We have pawn to d6, another book move, and pretty much all of these moves have been book moves to this point. You want to get your knights and bishops into the game efficiently, and so we have another book move, bishop to g5 there, attacking the knight. And then Lu Miaoyi just deploys her bishop here. Often something you have to do in the Sicilian, just get that bishop off the back rank. But that again is a book move. And then the queen comes here to d2 from Khubukshanov. And then we have kind of like a Najdorf. This isn't the Najdorf, but it's kind of like a Najdorf situation with pawn to a6. And now Khubukshanov castles. And there's actually been, at this point, there's like tens of thousands of games that have been in this exact same position. I think it's like 17,000 games or something like that. Or, yeah, I think it's like 17,000 games at this point. Then Lu Miaoyi plays pawn to e6, and we are still in book openings. This was a book move. Again, pawn to f4, a book move. Both players doing a good job attacking the center. It looks like Lu Miaoyi's position isn't great, but this is a pretty, like I said, this has been played many times. I think actually at this point it's only been played a few hundred times, but there's a transposition that happens here in the moment, and it ends up being something that's been played thousands of times again. So um, Lu Miaoyi plays a book move attacking the bishop, and that bishop backs off. Again, a book move. So here we are 10 moves into the game, and they're still playing like known openings with many, many games in the database. Lu Miaoyi then develops the bishop here. Now, this is not a book move. This is not a move that's been played, but it is a very good move nonetheless. Preparing to castle, just kind of developing the bishop, setting it up so that you're not, the knight's not being pinned to the queen anymore. So definitely a great move. Khubukshanov goes ahead and moves his knight back to f3, and now Lu Miaoyi brings her queen to c7. And now this is a bit of a mistake here. Khubukshanov pushes his pawn here, and this is the first real mistake in the position. Probably best would be to go ahead and start an attack. Yeah, just actually sacrificing the pawn here would be okay, because yeah, black's going to be castling to the king side, and that if you open up that file, it's going to allow the rook to come to g1 and put a lot of pressure on the king. So I think that's why Stockfish recommends this move rather than the move pawn to e5 that was played by Khubukshanov. So Lu Miaoyi goes ahead and captures, definitely the best move in the position, and captures back. At this point, also the best move in the position. Lu Miaoyi repositions her knight, again the best move in this position. And now this ends up it has transposed into a position that has happened before. So the move sequences were a little bit different, but this exact position has happened dozens of times. And so Khubukshanov grabs the knight here. Knight captures on d5, and then we have pawn captures on d5. And now there's been 6 games, including this one, that have been in this exact same position. In the other 5, bishop captures bishop was played, which is probably a better move. It just leaves white in a better position when all is said and done. I mean, the knight's probably going to have to come back and capture, and that's just a better situation. But instead, Khubukshanov goes ahead and captures with the queen, which, you know, on the surface, it's an okay move. Only problem is, yeah, it kind of like leaves this knight. So after bishop captures on h4, of course, knight is going to capture back, and now that knight is kind of poorly placed. You know, he's not really where he needs to be. He's kind of out of the action now. So I think that's why all the other players played bishop captures on e7 first. Now, Lu Miaoyi goes ahead and plays bishop to g4, attacking the rook. And Khubukshanov kind of makes another mistake here. He didn't have to play rook here, so he plays rook here. But a better move, this knight is just out of the game, would be just to go ahead and move the knight back, and you can still, of course, maintain your pawn structure here as the queen is defending. Another thing is that rook gets to stay on this beautiful open file. Rooks love open files, and with Khubukshanov's unfortunate move, now there's not, that pressure is not there anymore. So yeah, this is what he plays in the game. He plays rook to e1, which is it's a good move. It's just not the best move. It would have been better to bring that knight back, get it a little closer to the action earlier than later. So of course now Lu Miaoyi brings her rook over, attacking the queen. And so, yeah, obviously, Khubukshanov is going to have to move his queen, and he does find the best place for her here on c5. So queen c5 played by white, and now Lu Miaoyi brings her bishop back, maybe threatening to capture this pawn, although that can be dangerous because they can trap the pawn, perhaps, or excuse me, trap the bishop over there, perhaps, if you take it. But Khubukshanov actually goes ahead and brings his queen back to defend the position, which wasn't necessarily the best move here. He probably should have connected his rooks and developed this bishop. Yeah, just keeping the rook from having so much free reign there. So yeah, bishop to d3 would have been a better move than queen to a3 as played by Khubukshanov. Now, Lu Miaoyi played a nearly perfect game here. She didn't make any mistakes, no blunders, nothing besides this move here. She plays pawn to b5, and Stockfish doesn't really like that move. It says that that's a mistake. A better move would have been rook to d5. That would have been a better move in this position, according to Stockfish. But this works out really well for Lu Miaoyi, so I don't know. I think it's definitely a fine move, as it turns out. And now Khubukshanov actually blunders here. Now he brings his knight back to f3, and this is a blunder just because of the pressure now that Lu Miaoyi can put on the position with the simple move, the brilliant move, pawn to b4. And now really everything is kind of fallen apart for Khubukshanov, for the international master. Not a lot that can be done. He does find the best spot for his queen. Probably not safe to grab this pawn. If you did, rather than moving to a4, so he played queen a4, but if he would have captured the pawn, black could castle, and yeah, the rook's going to come to a8, and that's a really dangerous situation, especially the bishop is also eyeing the a2 pawn. So this move that Khubukshanov plays, queen to a4, is actually the best move in the position. And now Lu Miaoyi does castle, which is certainly the best move for her to play. Stockfish thinks it's a brilliant move. Okay, it seemed like an obvious move to me. Now Khubukshanov goes ahead and brings his bishop to d3, and this turns out to be a mistake because of one very subtle move that just amazing move that Lu Miaoyi plays. Maybe pause your video and think for a few moments, like what would you play here as black? So Lu Miaoyi finds the very strongest move, and it's a surprising move, really. So hopefully you paused your video and thought about it if you'd like, because I'm going to go ahead and reveal it, continue the show. Yeah, she plays pawn to b3 here. And what do you do here? You obviously can't capture with the queen. The bishop is protecting it. You can't capture with the c pawn because that leaves the bishop hanging. So you've got to capture it with the a pawn if you're going to capture it. Although that's actually not best. The best would be to just get your king off of this half open file. I should have mentioned that earlier. So we have this half open file. When the queen came to c7, yeah, that's a dangerous spot. So actually, Khubukshanov he blunders here, capturing the pawn. He should have just moved his king over, and he probably would have been okay in the position. But this is an absolute blunder, and Lu Miaoyi finds an incredibly brilliant move. So you might want to pause your video again and think about what move you want to play here, because there is just a fantastic move to be played. So hopefully you've already paused the video if that's what you want to do. Let's go ahead and continue with the show. Did you find, whoops, did you find the rook sacrifice? Yeah, yeah. Definitely a brilliant move. And the issue is this discovered check, which is going to turn out to be crushing. What are we? We're 24 moves in the game. I should have mentioned this is almost a miniature. This game is just about over. We're about done here. After pawn captures, of course, we have the discovered check. A lot of different places you can go. Where do you go? Well, Lu Miaoyi goes here, and this is the best move here. Actually, it's gonna chase the king out. He's in big trouble now, and he goes here, which is a fine enough move. But Lu Miaoyi finds the best move in the position, going ahead and attacking the king. The king comes over, attacks the knight, and now Lu Miaoyi plays knight to f5, checking the king as he sits there on e3. And you know, he probably should have moved here, and maybe he would have lasted a little bit longer if he would have moved here. Although that's not great either. Instead, he moves his king to e4, and now Lu Miaoyi goes ahead and brings her rook into the fray. And there's not a lot that can be done here for white. Well, it's actually mate in 9 at best for white. There's no way to stop mate. If Lu Miaoyi plays correctly, it would be mate, checkmate in 9 moves. But Khubukshanov goes ahead and grabs the pawn, and that's a good move considering the situation, which is really bad. And now Lu Miaoyi actually sacrifices the rook, and of course the knight captures back. And now we've got mate in 2 here. So maybe you want to pause your video and see if you can find the mate in 2. Black to play checkmate in 2 moves. Can you find it? Hopefully you've already paused your video if you wanted to find that mate in 2. But Lu Miaoyi plays queen here, check, and Khubukshanov has to block. There's really not anything else to do. And now queen comes down to g4, and that is checkmate. That is the end of the game. It's basically a miniature. This was 30 moves. Just an incredible game, really. The first 15 moves were like games that have been played many times, completely balanced. Everything was equal in so many different ways. 15 moves in, and they're everything's cool and everybody's equal. But then 15 minutes later, it's checkmate. The game is over. So intense. Destruction. Pretty awesome game. Anyway, thank you for joining me for that. I will definitely be covering more of Lu Miaoyi's games. She is amazing. She's actually broke into the top 100 women chess players in the world. She's by far the youngest in the top 100. But I'll be following her But I will also be doing reviews on, the grandmasters and other child star phenoms as well. I plan on doing a review every day, as well as tactics and stuff like that. So anything chess related. And also, please let me know if there's anything else you think I should cover in chess. You might check out my game, the biggest scandal in chess. Um, that's an interesting one with Magnus Carlsen and um, Hans Moke Niemann. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Bye bye.